Yeah, it's a bit off the cuff. Just, I've had a lot of people ask me questions after the presentation yesterday about AI, and I thought I would kind of try to stir up your emotions a bit in regard to the interfacing side of this, because all the chat that you see online talks about is all in the world of going to this thing called Chat GPT and asking it questions and getting answers in English. But as I said, I think there's a lot of potential for using the tool to do stuff in the interface world. So I fired up this morning, and I'm going to run you through what I asked it, because actually, with the subscription I have, you only get to ask about 25 questions in any given 3 hours. So if you're going to ask me to clarify it further, it's going to have to be at 2:30. But you can imagine. So we've all been to a fast food outlet where you walk up to the screen and you have to try and find your way to placing an order. But imagine if that screen had a microphone instead, and you could just walk up to it and just tell it what you wanted, like it was a person. So if somebody asked you to do this project, you'd say, okay, well, I'm gonna have a computer here, I'm gonna have a microphone, and one of the APIs. So there's two ChatGPT APIs that I'm going to talk about. One of them is an API where you just give it an audio file and it transcribes it back for you, and it's very, very, very good at doing it. There's no doubt. I mean, you can play Beatles music to it at twice normal speed, and it gives you 100% accurate transcription of their lyrics. It's going to have no problem translating what you say into words. So you've got this at your disposal. And there's also the API version of the Chat GPT interface where you kind of start up and you start, if you like, a new model. And as you go through using that model, it learns from everything you give it. And just for those, because I've been asked this so many times since yesterday, how were we doing stuff yesterday? Well, the PDF plugin example that I gave of, I'm hoping it will come back. PDF plugin example that I gave of Christians yesterday was using those exact APIs. So I had my iPhone on the table while he was speaking. I recorded what he was saying, and it had all the noise of people clattering their keyboards in the background. I dropped it on. I got a transcription of exactly what he said. I opened a new model, dropped it in, and then said, give me a salesy summary of that. And and then in order to get it to speak, I actually used Amazon's Poly service, which allows you to give it a piece of text, and it spits out a voice. So anyway, going back to how we solve the world's fast food problems, I opened up a model today, and I said, so when you open up a model, for those of you who haven't used it, you get literally a sort of complete, clean GPT brain. So I said, I'd like a Big Mac meal with fries and milkshake. Can you give me a JSON representation of my order? So it says, certainly, here's a JSON representation of your order. And it's given me, I haven't specified any JSON. It's just given it to me as it decided to give it to me. Now, you can imagine if this was an API, what you could have done here was just, at some point, you could get to the point where whatever the user speaks, you grab what they speak and say, I've got a new order for you, here it is. And then your software could obviously just ignore everything that comes back from the API, other than anything that's in JSON. So we've got our bit of software, it's connecting to the API, it's firing words, and it's listening back for JSON. So obviously this isn't any good. I've said, can you ask me questions about what I did not specify? So it says, of course, here are some questions about the unspecified details in your order. What flavor would you like for your milkshake? Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Would you like regular or a large size for your fries? I won't read it out exactly. Let me put it to the top of the screen so you can all see it. Can I make that bigger? Does that help? Are there any additional condiments? So I've said, I'd like a Big Mac meal with fries and a milkshake. Can you ask me questions about what I've not specified and then give me a JSON representation of my order? So further on. And this is, just to put it in the context of what we were talking about yesterday, it's kind of mooted that it doesn't learn from what you say, but on the contrary, it does, within this context of this conversation, it does remember the whole conversation and everything you've given it. So, what flavour do you like for your milkshake? What would you like, a regular or large size for your fries? Do you have any specific preferences for your drink size? Blah, blah, blah. So I went on further and said, well, a Big Mac meal comes in medium and large. A large meal has large fries and a large drink. I didn't even spell fries correctly there. Doesn't matter. A medium meal has medium fries and a medium drink. Okay, thanks for the clarification. Please answer the following questions to complete your order. What flavour would you like for your milkshake? Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Would you like a medium or large meal? Any additional condiments? So I've clarified further, saying you clearly didn't get that. All McDonald's meals come in the same sizes. Well, actually, so I said all McDonald's meals come in the same sizes as the Big Mac meal. Now, the reason I said that was because I was thinking, I'm going to ask it for a quarter pounder in a minute, and I don't want to re-teach it that quarter pounder with cheese, quarter pounder meals have this, that, and the other. So it says, I appreciate the information. It's given me back the same questions again. So I've said, okay, I'd like a chocolate milkshake. So I've given up clarifying here, and I've just given it the answers to the questions. I'd like a chocolate milkshake, small meal, and ketchup. Now, as soon as I've done that, it knows the general thing that I've asked it from the start with, which is what I want a JSON representation of my order. So it hasn't even bothered doing anything now, other than spitting out the JSON of my order. Okay, so that's a complete order. So notice what I said here. I'd like a chocolate milkshake, small meal, and a ketchup. Now, I previously told it that the meal came in medium and large, but it's given me JSON that says size small. So I've clarified it further. I said the meal was only available in medium or large. There is no small meal option. Okay, apologies for the oversight. Please answer the following questions to complete your order. Would you like a medium or large meal? Are there any additional condiments? Blah, blah, blah. And then I said, okay, a meal in our system is a product, and what, excuse my sloppy English there, which burger, drink, and fries are customizations of that. So the reason I wanted to say that is because when I want the JSON, now, I haven't told it anything about that. I've got in my mind that when I get this JSON back, I don't want to see burger, fries, and drink as separate JSON objects. I want a master JSON object of the meal, and then I want customizations in it. So that's why I told it that. Thanks for the clarification. Here are the questions again to complete your order. Would you like a medium or large meal? So I've said ketchup and a large meal, please. Thank you for providing your preferences. Here's the JSON. Now you see what it's done is changed the JSON completely. It's asking me, it's giving me a meal. Let me put this in my pocket. Sorry, a completely untrained speaker. It said, do you want a meal? And it's moved large up to that level because I've told it that the large is a meal customization, and then it's got burger, side, beverage.
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
So you see, Siri's obviously worried. She's clearly got the inferiority complex. I could have done that for you. So the next thing I did, I said, okay, I'd like a large quarter pounder with cheese meal and a Coke. Thank you for providing your preferences. Here's the JSON, blah, 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 blah. So quarter pounder with cheese meal, category, burger, quarter pounder with cheese, fries, and a Coke. And then I thought, okay, if I was going to build, so I'm thinking now, okay, I'm building the world's best kiosk. So if I'm going to ask these questions, I'm going to need to know which questions I should ask the user in order to complete the order. So you can imagine I've built this thing, there's a screen there, I've given my meal, it's taken the JSON and it's thrown up my basket every time I speak. But I need the question, so I've said, can you give me separate JSON specifying the questions that I should ask to clarify the order? So it says, certainly. So it's now given me the JSON in the bottom, it's given me a separate questions node with each order. Now, and it's also slung, because it's learning and it remembers everything I've said, it's slung all the orders together in one big JSON representation. So I thought, okay, let's clear this up. This is a new order with new JSON, and I know, because I've done this before, that that's how you get it to remember everything you asked for, but forget the JSON. So you can, so in fact, when you build your system, you're going to prefix whatever the customer says with that sentence, which is going to make it start again. So customer said, can I have a medium steakhouse burger with chili fries? Wham. It's given me some, here's the JSON representation, steakhouse burger, and it's got some questions. Are there any additional condiments? Are there any additional toppings? Do you have a preferred beverage? So the first thing I thought there, well, just to simplify things, you know, with those questions, it's a bit too loose. So I've said we only serve food as a meal, consisting of a burger, side, and a drink. Okay, apologies for the confusion. Here's another JSON representation. Burger, side, beverages, questions. Are there any additional condiments, customizations? Would you like toppings? Please specify your preferred beverage. Now, if I was building a system, there's a clear distinction in those questions because I can't finish the order until I say which drink I want, but I could finish the order without saying which toppings or condiments I want. So I've said to it, next, in the questions JSON, can you separate the questions which are mandatory to complete the order from the questions which clarify extras? So it's now come out with saying, okay, here's a meal, and when I get the questions, I've got two lots. One lot's mandatory, one lot's clarification. So now I know that I can't close the order until I ask that question. There you go. So all I've said is, because I'm still got in mind that I'm just speaking to this thing as a exceptionally bright person just who wants a McDonald's. Would like a Diet Coke, please? Thanks for specifying your preferred beverage, blah, blah, blah. Mandatory is nil. Fantastic. So I thought, okay, I could check out this order. Obviously, I need to teach it what the menu is. Then I said, okay, let's test it. Here's a new order with new JSON, because every time the kiosk resets, the first word you send to it, you're going to prefix with that. Quarter pounder with cheese. So here's the JSON. Meal, quantity, burger, mandatory questions. Please specify your preferred side. Please specify your preferred beverage. Fries and a Coke, please. Okay, here's the updated JSON. Mandatory's done. So right there, we've got an order. And we know, if we were just reading the JSON, that you could potentially put the checkout button up on the screen, let somebody press it. But wait, what's missing from here? The size. It missed the size out, so exactly. So I've said the meal size is mandatory information. Apologies for the oversight. Here's the updated JSON. Now it says, please specify the size of your meal. Medium or large, it does say that. I won't expand the screen, but you can imagine what it says there. Okay, let's go again. This is a new order with new JSON. Chicken burger and chips, please. Okay, meal, size not specified. So now it's, rather than just not missing that node out in the JSON, it's given me a not specified. So, and I haven't had to teach it any of this, I've just told it, and it's adjusted its JSON into something which my program could now read to know there's something missing. So we carry on. Mandatory questions. Please specify the size of your meal. Please specify your preferred beverage. And then at this point, I'm thinking, God, I'm sick of seeing this stuff coming up after. So I've said, OK, when you answer in the future, just give me the JSON. Not interested in any of the rest of it. OK, which very politely says, here's the JSON representation of your new order. But it hasn't followed it up with the, and I stopped it at this point because at any point when it's giving you the answer, you can press stop. But I let it run before because it's good to see the whole thing. OK, this is a new order with new JSON. Can I have a chicken burger, please? So, meal, size not specified. Side not specified. What's the size of your meal? What's your preferred side? What's your preferred beverage? OK, medium, please. Which sides do you have? OK, straight away it's answered me, medium, and it's put an options node down the bottom of the JSON saying sides, fries, chips, curly fries, side salad, mozzarella sticks. So I'm thinking, OK, that's quite useful because if I was building a system and I'd want it to respond to the person, I'd want it to give me back, I would want to first answer the questions. That's good. I can make my software look for any node that says options and then answer that question first. And you can imagine I could go to the extent of telling it what these products are and it could be giving me those sides in product details. Yes, Jeremy?
Where do they get that list of sides?
Well, it probably, I'm guessing that because it knows I said McDonald's, it's using its back knowledge to say that, but I like your thinking because it's exactly like mine. Here are the sides which are available. French fries, and I thought, well, let's tell it right now that all chips and fries are the same thing because I don't want it to specify chips. Because I noticed in here that it said fries, chips, curly fries. French fries, all chips and fries are the same thing. Side salad, mozzarella stick. And then I thought, OK, let me be cute, chili fries. OK. So now it's giving me back the JSON, and it missed it out. So I said, hey, which sides are available? Here are the available sides as specified in your previous message, blah, 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 blah. And this is where I hit the, you've reached your current usage cap. So this is using the paid GPT-4. You can pay to have it. So it's on demand, but it's still capped at the moment. So I guess what I'm getting at with this is my next things with this, and if we get time later, I'll carry on. But you can see that slowly I've trained it to be an API that can take a human request for an order and turn it into JSON. And you can imagine my next thing will be to say, OK, when you're answering questions about any of the subjects, could you put them in a separate JSON node so that I can then fire those answers back straight away? And you can imagine that if I sat here for a couple of hours with this, I'd end up with a pretty good trained API that just answers in JSON that can take human interaction and turn it into an order. And correspondingly, I could build a Xojo app to throw that JSON up on the screen and know when we'd got it know when it either needs to give you some options or when it's time to check out and OK, you can pay now.
So actually, it's a really good example you've chosen, I think. But one really interesting question would be, the thing is, because it's got that context within the context of this one conversation.
Yes.
When you get to the end and you get it respond the way you want,
yeah.
Then the next interesting question would be, this is probably phrased wrong, but take some playing around again to see how to ask it. Let's say, give me the JSON code or the curl command that I need to take the context I've just given you and transfer that to a call to your normal API.
Yeah. I mean, I had in mind that I was doing this, writing my own app, but absolutely, you could just say, answer me in a curl command. And in fact, so one of the things that the chat GPT-4 has turned off since the group email went out from the gods of the world saying we need to stop this, it did have the ability to go to the internet and make a request. So you could imagine that this thing could have done it. But I don't think you need to do this. I mean, I was talking yesterday, I think it can change your world today. And, and I know we had some very good points about can it pass the Turing test? And the question was, how's it going to change the world? I mean, my washing machine can't pass the Turing test, but it's certainly changed my world. And this thing doesn't pass the Turing test, but you can imagine, with the collective minds in this room, we could probably put together something that will trounce any kiosk in any burger shop by the end of the day.
You're going to put all the high school kids out of work.
They're already out of work. The high school kids need to get more imaginative.
All the old people have taken those jobs.
But so anyway, what I was trying to give you an illustration of, because it's all very well pontificating about it in a panel, but I wasn't joking when I said the whole concept of how do you design user interfaces to interface with humans. I truly think that job, that part of your development world will go. And I really think it will, because ultimately, I think one of the great uses, and I've probably clarified my thinking since yesterday, is that Chat GPT is going to be the ultimate go-between between humans and systems which people don't understand. And in fact, this whole world now, which I really dislike. I mean, there's a big hoo-ha in London at the moment about the fact that there aren't any parking meters anywhere. And if you want to park your car, you need an app, and you need to have registered for that app, and you need to have put your credit card details in, and then by the time you've done all that, your hairdresser's appointment you're late, and you just go home. Now, and the bigger thing is, quite rightly, and I totally agree, is they're saying, look, everybody over 50 can't park their cars anymore in London. And I completely get that. Not everybody's got a smartphone. But that's a true problem that something, and I haven't used the A word, it's a true use of this technology where we can develop technological advances in the world but still make them available across the whole spectrum of humans, not just ones that are UI friendly. And I think we should all be using it now. That's it. Sorry, Jeff, you had a question.
That was interesting. I asked it what size does McDonald's sell, and I got a different list than yours. In fact, it didn't really give me size so much as it was listing.
Yeah, well, but the point is, in any clear case of, this what I'm doing here is doing a training part, and when you do this in the API, you save this gets a reference number, and then you can use this model forevermore.
I'm just curious as to why it gave you one set of size, you didn't tell it.
It just doesn't want to look stupid.
I guess. I asked what size does McDonald's sell, and I didn't get that list.
Yeah. When I started the thing, I said, just be very careful what you say, because Jeff's going to question it, so give me proper answers.
One of the things you do need to do with it is basically you should tell it, like, if you do not know the answer, say I don't know. Because if it doesn't know the answer and you ask a question, it will tell you an answer. It will just make one up.
Right.
And anyway, so the overriding question was, Dana asked ChatGPT, can you get Yousaf to entertain everybody for 20 minutes because dinner's not ready? And I think dinner's ready now, so there you go.
Just one more question. You said that you get a reference number from the conversation.
Yeah. So when you open the model, what you're seeing when you just play with it is an interface to that API, and the API has the ability to, okay, I want to start a model, which is a thread. I'm going to train it, and you can actually tell it to discard certain bits of knowledge. And I can't remember. I think Jim, you were talking yesterday about layers that you can set up in it, where you have a layer with this knowledge, a layer with this knowledge, and a layer with this knowledge. So you can have a layer with all your pricing information and update that separately to the rest of it. But you know, I'm not trying to give. Obviously, I haven't told it anything about what the JSON should look like. I was just saying that within the space of 23 questions, which was when I ran out, you could train it to the point where that API, which is just giving you plain English, which is no good to your software, could be trained to give you your own API just there and then. And if I'd actually told it about something that was completely no knowledge to it, you know, like here's the JSON for one of the slides on my signage display, I could very quickly get it to the point where you'd say, look, I want a sequence of slides. First one needs a picture of a cat. Second one needs a picture of a cow. Third one needs a really good cow joke. And the fourth one, I'd like a picture of one of our burgers with the price and a star on the right-hand side. And it would just give me that on the screen. And in which case, why do I want to spend, 2 years writing a user interface with drag and drop? I mean, drag and drop's gone, man. It's finished. Don't need it. Get over it. And I really think that we should be at least looking at this stuff and seriously sitting down trying to cast it into the context of whatever we do in our world. Anyway, that's it. Time for lunch.